Alright everyone, welcome back to round 4, the very final round of this quarterfinals of the regional level of the Collegiate League. I'm Ryan River. I'm being joined tonight by Guildfrost. Actually, he's streaming, so I'm the one joining him. But some exciting games so far. We're actually getting into Champion Select for this game. It is game 4, UPIT versus Johnstown. The first game was won by, I think, a different UPIT, and then game 2 was a forfeit, was won by one of the SUNY teams, SUNY Binghamton, and then game 3 it was won by Baruch. Very the word that I am looking for.
Complete
commanding.
Victory. Commanding, yeah. That's
Commanding,
a good way to put it.
yeah, convincing, there we go. Very convincing victory for Baruch overall in the last game. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one. We see a LeBlanc band for the very first time tonight. I'm really wanting to see LeBlanc play, and we're not going to get to do it, Guildfrost.
Very sad. Yeah, no, I mean, I know that, LeBlanc has been a huge pickup, and so, yeah, I guess that's going to be banned out this game. But that is going to leave a few other picks open. Yasuo is going to be out. Elise is going to be out as well. Xerath actually being banned out, interestingly enough. I'm not sure if Shikisho has picked that one up since the remake. We are playing on 4.2, so his remake is live, and so we won't see any of that action this game as the final bans are going to be coming out.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because I actually still haven't learned all of his ability names. I know his Q stayed the same, Arcano Pulse, and then Mana Surge is his passive, and his new ult is Rite of the Arcane, but I don't actually remember his W or E names. Something about an eye, I think. An Eye of Destruction or something.
Yeah, who knows? I'm going to have to go to Google and find that out. But we won't have to figure that out this game. One interesting thing, that Elise ban, I know that Twinkies himself mainlines Elise. He has played a lot of Elise games, but they don't have first pick, and Firax Angel on the other side plays, he mains Elise as well. So they really just want to keep it out of his hands, keep it out of the game. Twinkies has a couple of champions to fall back on. Vi, I believe, is one of them. Olaf, Kha'Zix, and Cho'Gath are a couple more of his favorites. I'd love to see a Cho'Gath jungle, but it looks like we are going to be seeing more of a standard meta as Vi is being hovered over.
Well, I do know that Shikisho probably does not play Kassadin because Kassadin was actually banned by the blue team, which almost never happens. Kassadin is almost always banned by the red team because he is just so good right now that even if you're not a Kassadin main, even if you're like a casual Kassadin player, you're still going to be able to. You're still going to be able to carry really hard with him.
Yeah, as long as you know how he's supposed to be played, the mechanics don't necessarily. They're not as complicated as last game. Squidface, formerly known as Butterfly. Apparently, Squidface is the better way to put it. Squidface is his Vayne mechanics, but you don't really need that on Kassadin. So either way, that's going to be banned out. But we do have Lulu being picked, and I thought you might be excited about that, River.
I love that. Lulu is pretty much my favorite champion. I have written like 35,000 words about how to play Sona, but Lulu is my favorite champion. I love Lulu. She is so fun to play. She's so fun to watch. Could be mid lane Lulu, could be support Lulu. Mid lane Lulu is very much starting to be a thing now. Samphira has been playing mid lane Lulu for over a year, almost 2 years, pretty much since Lulu's release actually. And it's starting to catch on in a lot of places now. We saw fantastic mid lane Lulu. I'm not going to spoil the EU Challenger Series, but if you didn't see those games, because I know a lot of people watch LCS and then turn it off, don't watch the Challenger Series, absolutely watch it. There was some incredible mid lane Lulu, but it could be support. Lulu Vi is a very good combination. If it is a support Lulu, they could go for an Orianna here and try and get that sort of combination. Shyvana is available. I would not be surprised if their next 2 picks were Shyvana and Orianna, because that combo of 4 champions is crazy.
That would be the wombo of combos right there. And meanwhile, on the other side, we do have Nidalee being locked in, and I know that Shikisho kind of has a lot of games as Nidalee and Cassiopeia, which are two not necessarily current meta as far as champions go. We've seen Nidalee a few times in the LCS. To mixed success, I think, as we are going to be seeing that here. Olaf being picked up, and I would not be surprised if that is a jungle Olaf. I know Firax Angel, he has a lot of champions in his kit, so it could be top lane, but I think we're going to see that in the jungle facing off against Vi. Meanwhile, we've got some interesting champions being hovered over. I don't think we're going to see Urgot or Skarner in this case, so we'll see here what they can pull out.
So just checking real quick, my I'm being told we've seen Nidalee 15 times. I'm not sure if that seems a little bit high.
15 times in the LCS?
That seems a little bit high. Oh no, because that's picked or banned.
Yeah, because I know it was also banned a lot against Hotshot GG when he was playing, and it was either picked up or banned against him. So
yeah, I believe 15. That's what my coach just told me. I just ran my spreadsheet through a thing, but yeah. So we actually do see the Orianna, and we could still see the Shyvana. And then, of course, you put the Sivir there because this is somewhat of a run-at-you composition. There's a couple different ways you can do this AoE knock-up ult combination. You can do it with a Caitlyn because Caitlyn's able to stay very safe. When you do an AoE knock-up ult combination like that, you're not peeling for you to carry much. You're putting all of the CC on them. So you can do a Caitlyn because she can stand really far back and be safe. Or you can do something like a Vayne to get as much damage as possible. Or you can do an AoE AD carry like Sivir. Jinx also works pretty well, but Sivir gives you that running at them potential. And Shyvana actually might be picked up here over by UPIT because Johnson wants to deny it away from Rochester.
yeah, and I know that the Duke man in the top lane does play a lot of Shyvana. He plays Vladimir and Renekton as well, but I think Shyvana definitely an optimum pick right here. Not only is it good, just good in general, and it's going to be good for them in their team comp, but it's going to deny that from Rochester, and so definitely a good pickup here. And we are going to be looking at what should be the top lane for Rochester Institute of Technology, and I don't think it's going to be Talon, but we'll see here. But one thing about that Sivir pick, I really like that, and especially even against Nidalee, having that spell shield is going to give her an extra opportunity to be safe. And with an Olaf running at you as well, if you pop your ult, you can use that as an engage tool. Not that Vi has the trouble engaging, but you can use that as an engage tool, but you can also use that to try to escape Olaf and kite him around, as he is pretty much impossible to kite anyway. So we'll see how that pickup works out. Mundo being hovered over, and that would be a very realistic pick. I know that's one. I think that's Dawn Fury's top actually picked in solo queue as far as the top lane goes, and that is going to be locked in here once again. University of Pitt at Johnstown versus Rochester Institute of Technology, and those are our teams.
Yeah, so Corki AD carry, not something you see too often. They're gonna go for it this time. Corki is really good with the Trinity Force. Until he gets the Trinity Force, he's pretty weak early on in the lane. His Q doesn't do that much damage anymore, and he doesn't have a great start. Hextech Shrapnel Shells will do a little bit of extra damage, 10% extra damage on every single auto attack that he does. It does not apply to critical strikes, and that was a lot of the reason that the Season 2 Corki, when it was Corki Gears Ezreal, that nerf to Hextech Shrapnel Shields and the nerf to the cooldown of his ult, Missile Barrage, Cannon Barrage, Gangplank's ult is a lot of the reason Corki stopped being played. But he's got up and down, and the reason that Corki is so hard to balance is that Trinity Force is so perfect in his kit that he's just balanced around Trinity Force. So definitely expect him to see, or expect to see him get that item early, see how he does against Sivir before and after he picks up that item.
Yeah, well, and we haven't seen him a lot, so it's going to be interesting to see how he's played out, and that can give you an advantage. Playing a champion that's not necessarily standard meta can really throw the enemy team off. And I know we saw, even that Urgot Soraka bot lane there.
That lane is so good.
It just, people just don't know how to play against it. It's been drawing bans even, and so maybe we'll see something like that with Corki here. So we'll see here. Thresh a little bit more of a standard player, but.
Yeah, Urgot Soraka was like the single most terrifying bot lane in existence for a good chunk of Season 1. I did not like fighting that lane.
Yeah, and apparently it's back. I haven't seen it many other places, but it is very, very scary indeed. Yeah, and unfortunately Urgot has really just not been that popular.
Yeah, a lot of it is attack range is only 425. It's the single lowest attack range in the game. Morgana was 425 until a couple patches ago. They buffed her up to 450 and then also brought Thresh down to 450.
Yeah, no, that's this patch, right? And Thresh is going to be
4.
down.
2.
And so still considered range, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. Urgot has the shortest attack range out of any ranged champion. It's at 425, and then the longest melee attack range that anyone has is Aatrox with Massacre, which is 375. Right. So there's a 50 range difference there between those two. Some League of Legends trivia.
There it is. Yeah, you can show all your friends that you have the knowledge if you just listen to this stream, basically. What was we had some Pearls of Wisdom earlier. I can't remember what that was.
Oh, if your team gets cleanup kills, then you weren't caught out.
Oh,
you were
yes.
just baiting. So if you get
Yes.
caught out, it's your team's fault for not getting the cleanup kills.
Yeah. They were out of position. They were supposed
They
to be
were out
with
of
you,
position.
helping you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
You were
just
just
something to
waiting
take
for
to the
them.
bank. Yes. But anyway, this is going to be a really interesting team just the two differing team comps that we've got here. We've got a good amount of dive from both, and obviously the Wombo combos coming out from Rochester.
I can't wait to see
Right.
it.
Well, I know, and Lulu especially. But on the other side, we've got a fair amount of catch and poke. Once Corki gets his ultimate and that Trinity Force, the ultimates from him as well as Nidalee Spears could give them a little bit more siege. But it's going to be so hard, especially with the Sivir ulti opportunity and the Wombo combo. And it's just going to be interesting to see how these teams play it out.
So the team comp from Johnston is very, very potentially a really strong 3-1-1 composition because both Shyvana and Olaf are able to split push. Olaf will be a jungler. He won't have that many items, but if he manages to get a couple early kills, which would not be ideal, of course, ideally, you generally want the kills to go over to carries, not to the junglers, but if you can get Shyvana and Olaf to the point where those two are able to split, Nidalee, Corki, and Thresh is pretty safe. Two of those two champions are really mobile, and one of those champions has massive amounts of disengage. Thresh, of course, being the one with massive amounts of disengage. And so you put those two champions in the mid lane. Now, can that disengage against a Vi? Maybe not. Maybe not. But depending on relative power levels coming out of the early game, that is a potentially a very, very, very solid 3-1 because with Corki, Nidalee, and Thresh, the thing about Corki is that he does a lot of damage to towers with his Sheen procs because he is definitely going to go Trinity Force. And then you have Nidalee throwing spears to the side. And Nidalee, if she can land her spears, a lot of it is based on the skill of the Nidalee. If you have Faker playing Nidalee or Hotshot GG maybe playing Nidalee and you can land every single spear, I didn't just compare.
Faker and Hotshot.
No, I didn't mean to. I was just trying to think of a Nidalee player, and first I thought of Faker, and then I was trying to think of a Nidalee player I was actually known for Nidalee.
Yeah. If anyone is gonna stand up to Faker when it comes to Nidalee, I guess Hotshot, is somebody that might come to mind. So I don't think that's too bad. But I think that's the one pick. I guess Corki as well. The picks that I somewhat question. They're definitely a little bit unusual. Corki we haven't really seen almost at all. We saw him a little bit at the early parts of Season 4, but before the actual LCS started in most competitive play. But I'm not sure how I feel about them. I guess only time will tell. And both these teams are looking to make it through this best of one into the semifinals, which will be played tomorrow. So and it looks like we may actually have some connectivity issues.
Yeah, so Seki not quite connected to the game yet. Hopefully he is by now in the current sort of now, but 3 minutes ago he wasn't. So hopefully won't be too many issues there. But yeah, going back to Corki, it really doesn't see that much play. And we've even seen Grace played in LCS. I think it was only one game and they got absolutely wrecked. But
still,
haven't
seen
you just
Corki.
Never see Corki. And he's just so hard to balance because he does so many things, and his ult being the way it is gives him a huge amount of harass potential in lane once he gets level 6, once he gets that Sheen.
Yeah, and so I definitely think that we're going to see a spike in action once he receives that item. You always have Thresh, so there's the opportunity for them to get some damage down, get some positive trades, possibly some picks. The one thing about that Thresh as well, we talked a little bit about Corki's Q, and then it's got a delay. It's not doing quite as much as it used to be in its former glory. But with a Thresh hook, there is that should be able to land fairly easily. So that should help Corki trade and damage. But against a Sivir, who's going to have that spell shield, it's going to be quite difficult. We talked about last game. It was definitely we were focused on that bot lane with that. Obviously Vayne actually absolutely dominated that game. This game, I'm actually more curious to see how these junglers impact the game. I know that both of them are prolific junglers, and we're going to see here if they can, whichever jungler I think can make something happen, really could turn the tide in this game very quickly as we are loaded in. Everyone appears to be connected, and let's take a look at these opening items. Nidalee picking up that Fairy Charm early. Going to try to just stay safe and throw out as many spears as possible. It's going to be largely a farm lane, I think, for a while. Orianna, it's going to have a slight advantage with those auto attacks early, but we'll see here.
Nidalee actually didn't pick up a ward. She just decided to go for 8 potions. So she never wants to leave mid lane ever. 5 mana potions there, 3 health potions. Of course, mana potions on Nidalee can be converted into health indirectly because of that Primal Surge heal. But generally, you're going to see a ward there. So surprising start there from Nidalee, just going for something that makes her feel comfortable. She wants to be able to stay in lane for a really long time, doesn't want to be forced to go back early, and probably will, of course, rush the Chalice into an Athene's. Very, very standard way to build Nidalee. You might see a tier. I know particularly on Samsung Ozone, we see a lot of tier Nidalee builds, but Dade did switch teams over to Samsung Blue, so
Yeah, we'll
Dade
see here. I would
builds
not be
on
surprised.
everyone. Every mana champion that Dade plays in mid lane, he builds a tier on.
Well, hey, you know, I mean, if it works, it works, I guess, and it has worked for him anyway. And we'll see here is it's going to be pretty boring level 1s. It's pretty much the story, season 4 here. Nobody wants to get too much done here in the early game. Only a few teams have really tried to get anything happening early. We do have both red buffs started here as far as junglers goes. So we'll see here as far as they're going to be in opposite ends of the map here at the end of their first jungle pass. We'll see here. I'm not sure where to. I guess well, only time will tell. I'm not sure where we're going to see him, but either way, we're into the laning phase here.
Yeah, so Sivir and Lulu didn't push the lane at all. Even though they got to lane early, they could have pushed the lane if they want to. They chose not to. And I think the reason that they chose not to was that they have the ability to outpush the Corki Thresh lane very effectively. Corki does have his fast respawn. It is extremely mana costly. He can only cast it a couple times. You see, probably he has a good 3 casts of it before he's going to run out of mana. But he can't push lane. Lulu shoves lane really, really well. Sivir shoves lane really, really well. So they could just say, okay, well, we don't need to push lane right now. If you start to push on us, then we'll push on you.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. We saw that level 2 advantage used to great effect last game, and it looks like we've got it once again here, this time for Rochester, and they are going to pressure a little bit, but not using it, and they definitely weren't pushing for it here. As it's going to be a slow game overall. It looks like for both teams across the board. You know, I mean, obviously this lane matchup up here is going to be very much a farm fest. You know, and then even in the mid lane, as far as mid laners go, very farm oriented here. And then if the bot lane is also going to be this way, it's going to be a boring beginning of this game. And we'll see here. Is actually Vi maybe looking at making it a little interesting. Is going to get possibly a gank off here, using that early. By the way, has that sweeping lens, using that early lens to make sure that she's safe. And this possibly is why Rochester did not push early.
Yeah, that could be it. Exactly. They didn't want to be all the way at the tower. There's the flash Q. Flash right by Corki. Yeah. I just stole your job, but...
No, that was beautiful. Hey, you know, we're both good at it anyway. We could trade. That's just going to confuse me. But yeah, I mean...
That's so confusing.
Yeah, they forced the flash out of Corki. Corki's still going to have that escape, obviously, so it's nothing terribly bad for him. Honestly, really an even gank as far as that's concerned. But we do have Rochester pushing up now, so we'll see how Corki does.
Olaf is bot side right now. He's also sitting on a ward.
He is indeed, so we'll see if maybe we get a counter gank from Vi.
Okay, so the important thing to remember right now is that both Vi and Corki don't have flash.
Yes, indeed. Plumber being caught very much out, but Randozer is caught very low. First Blood going over to mixing there on that Lulu, and now they are chasing here. Twinkies is trading with the jungler here as Fearox has the red buff on him. Lulu gets a slow off, but it's not going to be enough as they are going to escape.
That flash Q from Lulu. Very, very manly play coming out of mixing there, but unfortunately there was no follow-up whatsoever, so Lulu does end up using that slow. Completely ran out of mana, but I don't think they would have been able to pick up anything further anyway. Vi very aggressively picked the jungle, positioned in the jungle. She wants to kill on Olaf.
Yes, Olaf is going to be taking a little bit of damage. The red buff is no longer on Vi, though, so really just going to harass him out. Going to go ahead and use that smite to steal away a little bit of that jungle from Olaf. And a good trade there. Get some damage out. No kills, but definitely a good job by Vi.
Well, so in mid lane, Orianna was actually able to solo Nidalee. And the reason that Orianna was really able to solo Nidalee was that Nid's starting build didn't have any bonus HP early on. So it's great for sustain to do something like 8 potions, but not having the Doran's Ring means that you're going to be a little bit low on health. And so Orianna saw that, was able to capitalize on it. Really nice play, able to get the kill into the 1v1. It wasn't the first blood. First blood, of course, went to the bloodthirsty mixing there. Totally worth it. give first blood to the support. I actually saw a website for the new Cade team, which is incorporating a couple Korean players into their roster. They have their support listed as utility carry.
Utility carry. I saw that actually on
Utility
your in-game status there. But yeah,
I mean utility carry. I like it. I like it.
Right? I feel like Edward would appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Seki able to trade very favorably in this lane. I mean, those auto attacks, you cannot underestimate the build from her passive on her auto attacks. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, Orianna still dominating that lane. Look at the farm differential there in that lane as she continues to trade a ton of damage across, and that's not great for Nidalee. Looks like Olaf may look at trying to help out there as the bot lane continues to be pushed by Rochester, but here comes a gank. Furex Angel is not spotted out by a ward. The problem is Orianna is at full health, and that is going to be a tough gank to get off. So she's going to go ahead and back off and allow Shiggy to just endure here and heal up and try to get as much farm as possible.
Yeah, so in the mid lane, one thing that we were talking about was how Nidalee can heal herself. Orianna is effectively doing the same thing by using her shield so effective. Great shockwave there! That was absolutely incredible. Vi with the ball breaker for it. She still didn't have her flash from the very first play in bot lane, but Orianna said, you know what? It doesn't matter. You don't need to have flash. I'll just reverse flash Nidalee. And took that shockwave, got the reposition off, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, there was not quite enough damage. Orianna didn't have the ignite. She used the ignite to pick up the first kill in the lane.
Yeah, and still showing that dominance, but yeah, unfortunately, Shiggy Sho, just heals up a little bit too much, apparently. Going to go ahead and stay alive, and now that he's got level 6, did not go for that tier first, so really just going to have the mana and magic resist to try to stay alive in that lane. But is going to be able to catch up a little bit in farm here as Orianna is returning to lane. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we haven't talked about it too much. Very even in farm. Shyvana has been pushing up against the turret, but Dr. Mundo, he's pretty good at farming under that turret, and so he has actually a slight lead in the top lane. But other than that, that's been our small check-in to the very boring top lane, which has been pretty much a farm fest.
Yeah, I think if you look at top lane for more than like 5 seconds per 4 minutes, you're guaranteed to miss a kill somewhere else on the map. You can't look there.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes on the mini map and the health bars, but I did nothing really doing there.
Sorry to all you top lane mains.
Yeah, we love you anyway for the late game split push that you offer.
It's really interesting. It brings really interesting strategic depth to the game to have a top laner in the game, even if.
Oh.
It's not exciting to watch.
Red buff, scumbag jungle.
Oh no, bye.
Stole the blue buff, unfortunately.
So that's actually going to be really difficult for Orianna to deal with because she's going to be against Nidalee, who has Chalice plus blue buff. So there's going to be basically infinite sustain there, infinite primal surges, infinite spears, and Orianna doesn't got anything.
Yeah.
And she's just stuck at a third mana right now. Vi owes her a gank. She just owes her a gank.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the payback.
It's hard to gank Nidalee, though. It's so hard to gank Nidalee when she's 6. She can just pounce away in Cougar form, and it looks like Vi wants to try. Standing on top of ward, will be able to sweep it. Olaf's in the area, and Olaf is one of the best junglers at counter ganking.
Yeah, and so they're going to spot that out. Vi's going to have to back out. Meanwhile, also backing out, we've got Flappage and Rhino Dozer. Going to go ahead and back off and buy some items as Sivir actually did back and grab a BF sword. So that's going to be a pretty serious amount of poke here. Meanwhile, Corki going to be, going actually for Phage first, but that's going to be a little bit of health. And losing out right now in farm as Sivir pushing under that turret, getting an early lead here in farm.
So something actually pretty interesting is that Lulu opted to not go for a Sightstone Rush. She has opted instead to go pick up the Nomad's Medallion all the way and also pick up early boots, so doesn't have any bonus HP. If she gets caught by Thresh and Death Sentence, it could be really, really deadly to her, especially Olaf coming into the bot lane now. She looks to be okay, Sivir looks to be okay, Vi is here. And while Lulu does have wild growth, still you generally want to pick up a red crystal. So that's a little bit surprising to me. However, it's going to give her significantly better mana sustain. And also, because she picked up that early first blood kill, it is allowing her to snowball her GP10 a little bit more. Pick up the earlier GP10 means that you get earlier additional GP10, and then you just get a lot more gold.
Yeah, definitely going for more of a mid-late game strategy here with that gold per 10. It works in a lot of games here. Is actually Mixing does get caught out there. They're going to get a little bit of damage across. Flappage tries to get a full volley onto Mixing, but that Doran shield and a health potion going to go ahead and keep her alive for now. And yeah, that bot lane definitely being dominated by Plumber and Mixing.
Yeah, you see so much damage going across onto Corki out of the 2 procs from the Boomerang Blade there coming out from Sivir. So a lot of damage onto Corki. Sivir's main problem as an AD carry is that her auto attacks are short range, only 500 range on Sivir, but her Boomerang Blade is so long in range that it doesn't really matter in lane so much because you still have that extremely, extremely long range poke.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's definitely showing up here in a pretty big way. And yeah, we'll see here. So we're back to the farm fest that was the first couple of minutes here, and we'll see here. So far, the jungle presence hasn't been nearly as much as I thought. Wards have been pretty plentiful. Vi has been trying to make some stuff happen, but her lanes are pushing, so she's going to go ahead and revert to farming. And as far as farming goes, very few junglers do it better than Olaf, who is also resorting to that farm jungle role here. It looks like a pink ward going up around the dragon pit. I believe it was spotted out there, and now Lulu really just trying to decide if she wants to actually go in there and kill it, and she is going to go in there. Has the support of Twinkers and Twinkies, and that she should be safe.
Oh, misses a couple glitter lances though. Missing 2 glitter lances in a row there. Play comes down. Are they going to fight here?
We do have the ult from Vi coming across, and that's a very long ultimate, getting in onto Flappage. You cannot escape it. Now Twinkies is very much out of position, going to go ahead and get across the wall with just a little bit of health. The ultimate from Corki not going to quite land there as Plumber picks up the kill on Rhino Dozer.
If he aggroed Dragon instead of trying to hit Vi, he 100% would have been able to pick up the kill because the Dragon would have taken out Vi and the missile would have exploded and done the AoE damage to her. But he thought he could snipe Vi. He thought he could go for the style points, hit Vi instead of hitting the Dragon, get the kill immediately. Vi was able to sidestep it. So I can't believe that Twinkies managed to live there. That was crazy. Corki did such a good job of pulling her way too far, way farther than she wanted to go. She was split from her team. Lulu would have loved to ult Vi, but had to ult Sivir. I mean, how terrible to ult your AD carry. And so Vi was able to survive, and Thresh, of course, did go down. So 3-0 now for Rochester. That was really, really huge for them.
Yeah, no, and like you said, Corki did what he could to get him back, but yeah, nice escape by Vi, gonna give them the advantage and turn it right on around as that pink ward is gonna go down there. Lulu gonna go ahead. Yeah, there it is. And Vision, another one actually, pink ward in her inventory, so she'll be returning to once again try to regain vision of that area. As Vi has that sweeping lens, but we mentioned it earlier, Nomad's Medallion being the first pickup rather than a Sightstone for Lulu, so she's gonna go ahead and keep her free ward here for a bit as she's gonna be returning to lane here. Plumber nearly gets caught out by the hook, but has a spell shield, dodges it anyway, and they're gonna remain safe for now.
Does Corki's missile still explode even if it gets spell shielded?
It does. I don't think it does. It still doesn't do any damage to
it just does the
target.
animation.
It will do the animation. I think it still does the AoE.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because for some things, I think it
completely
just
nullifies
stops
it.
it.
Yeah. Same thing. Like I think Yasuo's wall mitigates it doesn't explode, but I think that the spell shield still explodes. But it looks like we do see Dragon being focused here by Rochester.
Time with the blue being passed over in Italy. Really, really solid timing on this. They see it nearly leaving mid lane, and you see the ward that Orianna has placed. This ward in the middle of mid lane to see where the enemy mid laner is roaming to. That is such a good ward to place if you're playing pre-made 5 games and you have all of this coordination and communication across the team, because you can just see, okay, look, their mid laner is going to take blue. We can go pick up a free dragon, and that ward completely paid for itself many, many times over from that play.
Yeah, no, and I mean, another pro tip for you here, around 14 minutes. If team starts on blue, I'm going to finish this a little later as we do see them jumping in on to the mid laner. Shiggy is going to go down there. Twinkies uses that ultimate to get in there. A little bit out of position there. Furax, though, misses actually with that slow, and Twinkies is going to escape. It should be able to escape here. Yeah, going to go ahead.
Completely out of mana there. That last Vault Breaker barely had the mana for it.
Yeah, the Assault and Battery right under the turret.
Yeah, the style points flash auto attack from Seki there. He wanted to make sure he was the one who got the kill. He said, "Bye, you took my first blue buff. I'm going to take your kill, and it is worth my flash." So we'll see if Orianna needs the flash in the next few minutes. But at that point in time, I would much rather have the kill onto an Orianna than onto a Vi. Orianna needs those kills to be able to carry. Going on to Olaf now.
Yes, indeed, and is going to be able to pick up that kill under the turret, and yeah, definitely becoming a beast with that blue and red buff now. That's a very scary Orianna, and unfortunately, Nidalee just has not been able to do anything in that lane. The turret is almost going down. And that's another victory as far as lanes go for Rochester, and it's just not looking good across the map. If we look top, Dawn Fury, 20 farm above the Duke man in the top lane. It was very close for a long time, but picking up that Sunfire cape is really helping out Dr. Mundo as Seki finishes off this mid turret.
Yeah, and bot turret's going to go down as well. Very, very nice coordinated timing on both of these turrets going down. That means that all three people who just took the turret will be able to recall with their own turret gold, plus the other turret gold from the other lane that fell down. Orianna is so far ahead in this game right now. 16 minutes in, she's picked up her Athenians and an NLR on top of that. 3-0-0, 141 CS. Not the huge CNOS numbers that you sometimes see out of Orianna, but she has been pretty active on the map. She's rotated to take a couple of dragons, and of course she's had people in her lane a couple times. And on top of that, you have to remember, she got her blue stolen away by her jungler top lane.
Yes, and actually Mundo did not have his ultimate, so he's going to go down there, but he was able to dodge out enough to bring Shyvana with him. A 1-for-1 trade overall. I think that still is a good gank by University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, and that was their first kill of the game. But unfortunately, they still weren't able to get anything. And that killing over to Olaf, which in the grand scheme of things is not bad. Oh, Twinkies fail over the wall there. Vaultbreaker not going to get her over. But they are going to be able to pick up the second turret in the mid lane. That's 3 turrets to 0, and that's an inner mid turret. And that's going to give a lot of map control to Rochester.
So I'm a little tiny bit, I was expecting to see Mundo teleport bot instead of teleporting top. But there's a fight at the inhibitor turret.
Yes, and they absolutely melt Thresh, who was way out of position there. And yeah, that teleport coming in there. And I don't know what Thresh just wanted to get in there, but a nice ultimate there. The shockwave comes down there, jumping in there. The wombo combo left and right. Twinkies picking himself a kill on Nidalee. On the backside of that, we do have a kill going down to Olaf as well. But overall, it's going to be a mid-turret down and a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Rochester. They're going to get an inhibitor, and that was a huge play from the wombo combo team comp.
Alright, so I expected that Mundo was going to teleport to save a lane, but who wants to save a lane turret when you can just pick up kills? So he teleported down to the mid-inhibitor turret. They were able to dive it, able to pick up kills, and it wasn't the traditional combo that you expect to see, where the ball goes on Vi, she goes in, she ults, and then Orianna ults, and then Lulu ults, but it was just as good. They got all 3 knockups onto everyone, and they're still going.
Yeah, they are getting a little bit fresh here. Rhino Dozer going low, but he is going to be able to back off safely. The members of Team Red are going low. Vi is going to finally go down. Mixing, fleeing for his life. The Boomerang Blade coming back and be doing a little bit of damage there. Plumber pops that barrier to try to stay alive. The slows coming out from several members, Dawn Fury specifically in this case. But they're actually going to lose a couple kills to that. I think they're feeling a little overconfident right now.
Mundo got thrashed, and his ult's back up. Can he 1 versus 2?
He's going to try to. Shigisho very low, and yeah, getting a little bit too close. That AoE damage just doing too much here. Dunfering a triple kill, and with the ball from Orianna is going to escape from that. Olaf tries to give chase, but Dawn Fury, a beast, now 4-1-3. Oh, and he's going to have some gold to return to base with.
Mundo. Absolutely hero Mundo. Yeah, he has 1,800 right now. So basically, what happened there was that Rochester said, okay, we're going to push down the inhibitor, and then they could have left because there were no more objectives to take. But they were ahead enough that they said, okay, well, we just want to see how strong we are. How much can we fight in your base? And they just tried to outplay as much as possible, try to test their composition to the limits and see what they could pull off. And it turned out they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. But they had this hero top laner. You remember, top lane's boring until they join team fights and then become heroes. Monsters who can just 1v4 the entire team. He only 1 versus 3, but you know, he still picked up a triple kill there pretty much by himself with only the shield from Orianna helping him out. So that was pretty incredible play by Dawn Fury.
Yeah, they definitely bit off more than they can chew, but what we don't realize is that Mundo, he can chew a lot by himself, and he definitely did that. As he pops his ultimate once again, going to go ahead and escape anything that the jungle and top laner can throw at him.
This time.
Yes, Vi is there. It's going to be a 2v2, and the ultimate comes across. Mixing is in the back as well. Going to try to get in there as fast as possible. The slow's coming down. The ultimate pop by Angel. Going to be trying to escape there, but they are in full retreat mode. Sivir is there now as well. A nice roam there. It's going to be a 4v2 overall. There's no roam coming out of University of Pitt right now. Angel actually going to escape for now under the turret, but it's not going to be enough. The Lantern, though, saving him for now, but it's not going to be up. The red buff picking up the kill onto Olaf, and with that, they're going to look at this turret.
Alright, so in the end, the Lantern wasn't quite enough because of red buff, but that was still a really, really good Lantern. And I definitely expected Sivir is trying to run into the Death Sentence there because she wants mana even though she has blue buff. So, I don't know. Style points, I guess.
Yeah, but Seki, now 5-1 Seki wanted to get a couple more kills there. Does pick up that kill onto Thresh and just using positioning, using the strength that they have right now to the max. And they were able to pick up another turret, and now they can get a Baron if they want.
So I'd actually like for them to not do Baron right now because they're a little bit low, and they do have the mid inhibitor down, but the Baron is going to take them a little while, and pretty much they're banking on UPIT Johnson not checking to see if they're at Baron, which it looks like they're not. So it looks like they will be able to make it happen, but this isn't the safest Barons.
A little bit of a risky play there, but they definitely, I mean, the mind games that they are playing, they are feeling confident in doing that, and I was going to say, I think after those kills that most of them should want to back, if I were to guess, but looks like several of them are just going to return to this mid lane.
Gold, no big deal.
Yeah.
Who needs 3,200 gold worth of items?
Right? Oh, well, they want Dragon, so I thought it was, I didn't think it was greed, but it really is just greed.
It really is just greed.
They're going to go and get that, and I'm sure they're going to back after
Maybe Mundo needed it to pick up his Renitins all the way. Now he couldn't have gotten that anyway.
Yes, as Twinks does get caught out there a little bit by that pull, but you're not going to be able to do much to follow up on that. And let's
curious to see what Lulu builds, because last time we saw a Rage Blade on Janna, so I'm wondering what we're going to see on Lulu, because Lulu has a lot more build options than Janna does.
I think that a Rage Blade would be a real. I think it's coming back. I think that it's going to be the hot new thing.
Support Rage Blade Rush.
Yeah.
Do you think you should go Rage Blade Sightstone or Sightstone Rage Blade?
Ooh, that's a good question. It looks like the Sightstone was picked up there, but oh, here comes a nice Orianna ultimate.
Easy.
Almost brings them all down by itself. Flappage trying to flee for his life there, is going to live for now. Thresh, good guy support, going to go ahead and take that death up front as the rest of his team fleeing for their lives, and they all have low health bars as it's 2v5 right now, and Seki with that shockwave absolutely decimated them. And unfortunately, the ball not fast enough to chase after this dragon. But Dawn Fury man-moding it under the turret there. And Seki with the kill steal there under the turret as well. And it looks like they may honestly just end it here. They've got a couple turrets that they can go after. But with the way that they are playing, they can probably end it right now.
And every person on the side of Rochester has died exactly one time.
And that's like spreading the love around, I guess. There is Twinks under the turret there. They're going to try to keep it at 1 kill apiece here as they pick up a kill onto Olaf. Dukeman is about to respawn here. Thresh tries to get the hook onto Sivir, but Sivir pops that shield there, spell shields that away. The rest of his team going to go ahead and just try to get this turret down. That is going to be the last turret.
Almost down. Gets a lot of shields, though.
So they're a little low, so it looks like they're going to go and back off. Like you said, they each have 1 kill, 1 death apiece, so they're going to try to be very safe here.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else wants to dive. Shockwave on it too, though.
Yes, once again, the Shockwave absolutely obliterating this team. Rhino Dozer is going to escape it, not Nidalee or the Duke Man. That's another death going across for, for that top laner. And they're going to pick up another kill onto Olaf just as he spawns, and that should just about do it. University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, they came to play, but unfortunately, Rochester Institute of Technology came a little bit harder on this one.
Barely survives back in there. You can see the final build. We didn't get to see a Rage Blade over on Lulu as my entire screen blows up a second time. I don't know if yours did that, but Thresh did end the game with 6 Fairy Charms. So we do have an innovative build on one champion in this game.
Well, and you don't think of Thresh as being mana reliant, but as far as bang for your buck goes, that's going to be some fairly decent, mana regen in there. But yeah, that was another decisive game, and I believe I think I'll have to check the brackets, but this win is going to mean Rochester Institute of Technology is going to be facing off against Baruch College, both of which had very decisive victories.
Yeah.
So that is going to be an interesting game to watch tomorrow night.
And it will be on this stream at 4 p.m. Well, I'm actually not sure which game is happening first. That game is probably happening second, but the semifinals will be on stream tomorrow at this same stream. So be sure to follow the channel if you have not done so already, and make sure that you tune in for the games tomorrow. This conference, or this region, is going to continue at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm just going to quickly pull up the times of the other leagues, which are also happening tomorrow. Get that up on the screen here and relay the information. It looks like it will be starting at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It will be the second round of the Midwest, and then it will be the Northeast second round, and then followed by the West semifinals. And so there will be games straight from 5 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific to 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. That one's harder. You can't just subtract 3. Right. You have to, yeah.
Yeah, that's when you get out your toe shoes and you gotta do all the counting.
And
but
it's
yeah.
like, well, 12 minus plus 1. Yeah.
Yeah, most
12
definitely.
Plus 1 minus 3.
Math is hard, but
it is, especially base 12.
Yeah, especially base 12 indeed. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a full day of League of Legends tomorrow here on stream, so you're definitely going to want to check it out. I'm not going to be there. Are you going to be there tomorrow?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well I might watch for a bit anyway because it's going to be some good stuff going down. Not to mention, definitely check out the website. Which is just lolcollegiategames.com because there's going to be more information on some of the other divisions. We've got games going on all this weekend. There are the finals for the North, East, and West are going to be on Sunday. And definitely check it out next weekend as well, as we're going to have some more games casted starting on the 22nd, and they're going to last 22nd, 23rd, and then we also got some games on the 1st of March. So you're going to definitely want to follow the channel and come on.
Yeah, I couldn't keep track of all of that. I need the email.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You got to follow the channel. But in addition to following the channel, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors very, very much. Silverstone, Gunner, Velocity Micro, Falcon, Cougar, and GX Gaming. You can find a list of all of them on the channel. Under About Us, click on Partners and Sponsors, and be sure to support all of our sponsors. We really, really appreciate it. And Gilfrost, if they really, really love your casting and think you're the best person ever, where can they find you on the internet?
That is a great question. Well, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter or just about anywhere. If you look for Gilfrost online, it's probably me. Twitter. You can also go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GilfrostLOL. And I know you have a Twitter as well. So what is that?
Yeah, I do. My Twitter is twitter.com/RyanGoldRiver. And I think all of this, like all of the information we're talking about right now, will go into the Twitch chat. So if we're going too fast for you, you can just look at those links, click them all, bookmark them all, because they're all really important. And if you want to follow my Twitch channel, you can follow me at twitch.tv/RyanGoldRiver. Having some internet problems at the moment, which is why Gilfrost is an amazing streamer who has been streaming, doing a great job of camera work. But I'm going to start streaming again as soon as I get that fixed. So I want to thank you all for watching. I think that's everything. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I think that just about does it. So, yeah.
All right. Congratulations to our winning teams. It was UPitt, SUNY Binghamton. That one was the forfeited game 2 that we didn't get to see. Baruch, and then Rochester Institute of Technology. Congratulations to those 4 teams moving on to the semifinals. Be sure to check them out.